Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Daily Word. Today it is Tuesday, May 17th. Glad you could join me for our ongoing conversation that surrounds the Word and our daily Word and what it might mean for us as we continue to live our lives as the community of faith and as we move forward together and what all of that means for us. So glad you could be with me at therapy this morning. And I got home a little bit late, but I'm waiting for my new wrapper to arrive so I can get the office back up and running like it needs to at some point today. So that's why I'm still at home waiting for that. We're supposed to be here anytime, waiting for that to arrive. So this morning's scripture, we continue to be in the book of Colossians, a verse at a time, which is okay because these verses are so full and rich for us, as we live our lives. So we hear these words. Let the message of Christ dwell among you richly as you teach and admonish one another with all wisdom through psalms, hymns, and songs from the Spirit, singing to God with gratitude in your hearts. I got to thinking about this particular text today and what it might mean for us. Especially in light of, you know me, if you know me well, I like to sing. I don't sing well, but I like to sing. And I like to sing a variety of songs. And I think, in worship especially, that music and the gift of song, whether we sing it or Jen plays it or handbells or the choir or a soloist, whatever it is, I think that music plays such a big role in what we do for worship and how it affects our lives. Every time we baptize a baby, especially where music's so important, we sing Child of Blessing, Child of Promise. And the words of that song are significant as we share our lives together. And we sing it every time. When we welcome a new member, the song I like to sing, Welcome to the Circle. The words of the song are such a reminder that in a community of faith, folks gathered Sunday morning in that space, in a community of faith, the song is, there's love enough, love enough for someone like the new person, that there's love enough that they can be, folded in. We have been recently singing the prayer song, Come to Me, and Weston has taken hold of that, and if you've been there, every time that we begin to sing that, Weston says from the back, Papa, sing, and he comes to the front. And Sunday I held him while we sang that song. Music, as the writer of the book of Colossians says to us, is a way that we teach each other, a way that we learn wisdom together through words of songs and through the hearing of all of these songs in our lives. For us as we gather together, now I don't know about you, but I'm guessing we're all the same. When I get in my car, the very first thing I do is adjust the radio, try to find a song that I like. When we come to church, we listen to music, we hear the songs that are played for us. Paul writes that for us, as we live our lives, that music is this grounding force, and we don't have to know all the words. Sometimes we can make them. We don't have to know every word, every hymn, but the words that we sing are powerful. Sunday morning, I got to thinking about it this morning on my drive to therapy early this morning. Sunday morning, our opening hymn was Trust and Obey, and I can sing all of those verses, without even looking at the screen. because I grew up with that kind of music, that kind of thing in my life, and it informs me. It helps to shape my faith. And when we do that together, the scripture says that we teach and admonish one another, and we gain wisdom through psalms and hymns and songs from the Spirit. And all of that, hopefully, when we do that together, that you too find that in our worship time together. But then there's this other piece, that I think is important that Paul writes to us, singing to God with gratitude in our hearts. There is this other piece of this. So it's one thing to lift our voice in song, it's one thing to be affected by the music. It's another thing then to make sure that what we do, this singing, this admonishing, this teaching, this gaining of wisdom with each other, is then done with gratitude in our hearts toward God. Music, hymns, verses, choruses, new songs that we sing, old songs that we know every single word to. This is a reminder, the scripture, that that's a glorious treasure to us. That there's this extraordinary richness in our lives when we sing together. And then Paul says when we sing together, then we learn together, and we learn about wisdom, and we teach each other, and our lives are then somehow filled with gratitude. Paul really is onto something here. That when we gather, when we live our lives together, whether it's on Sunday morning or in the car or in our tractor or when I mow, which is a rare occasion these days, I wear headphones. I like to listen to music or the ball game, depending on what time of the day it is. We have this reminder that when Christ and the message of Christ dwells among us, when we lift our voice in song, when we teach and admonish and we find wisdom with each other, and then we use that in gratitude to God, our lives are enriched. We're made richer. We're fulfilled in ways that we just don't understand, I think. And so, for me, when I think about Weston, who when I get ready to sing says, "Papa's singing," and he's gotten brave now, coming all the way to the front. He might still have his head down, but he's gotten brave, coming all the way to the front, and he watches me when I sing. I'm reminded, that in that he too is learning. In that he too is even though he doesn't know it yet because he's only two plus, wisdom is being transferred. And when we took in Adam as a new member Sunday, and I had John come, who happens to be, his father-in-law, and the council president come up and give him a certificate. John said, I know you as a good man. I already know that. But John said, what I know is that what we do together here helps make us better. And I think that's true in all that we do. And when we lift our voices in song, Adam to Weston, our lives are enriched. And gratitude overflows in us. So, we don't have to be great singers. I'm certainly not. I like to sing. I'm not good, but I like to sing. I think it's fun. I enjoy putting it out there. You know me. I don't read a lick of music, but I like to sing anyway. It's a reminder of God's wisdom flowing through us. And I hope that we just continue to lift our voices in song in all that we do. So, know of God's love that surrounds you and the music, God's music that flows through you. Know of my love for all of you, and I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Have a great day.